Guys, well, there's a big OK on my land, spray painted. Mistig was here. He wasn't sure if I'd be allowed to record the vehicle or not, so I just didn't push the issue. He just left, walked around, looked at the hole, and interesting, he said farmers who have had the land in their family for 200 years or so, they want to dig a hole in their field. They've been farming for years and years and years and generations, and they still have to get permission, although they're certain there's nothing there. So he said, even tilling the garden, whatever you're doing, you have to check. And it is the law. If you don't do it and you hit a line, you're in a lot of trouble. If you do go with them and you hit a line, you're covered. So it's up to you. You can obey the law and you can cover your back, or you cannot. And with my YouTube experience, I prefer to obey every law, even the finest law. So we have a green light for a dig. He said there's absolutely nothing in this land, and even the phone lines are above ground, he said, according to his records. Somebody was commenting about fiber optics and said, well, are you sure your phones aren't fiber optic and buried? I had laughed and said, I wish we had fiber optics, because I was thinking internet, high-speed internet. And he said, according to his records, they're above ground. So, I mean, there might be a little wire below the ground to the house, it looks like, but I don't know. Anyway, that's that. Peppers are starting to have flowers, but they're not bearing fruit yet. Just sitting here looking while I talk. I hope we get enough produce before it freezes. It was 46 degrees, or in the 40s again last night. I didn't check the precise temperature, but it was in the 40s again last night here. And I do believe it's the sandy soil here, because in the desert, for example, you have freezing nights and scorching hot days because the soil doesn't regulate the temperature. And I think that's what we have here. Anyway, a lot going on. We just let the birds out, so just starting our day here. So I'll talk to you guys later. Hey guys, I'm putting some hazelnuts in. 1, 2, 3. I'm about to plant 4 and 5. So we're going to have a little hedgerow of hazelnuts right here in front of the house. It'll be a privacy shelter and an edible hedgerow. So I'm just going to put the last one in. Now, from my understanding, hazelnuts actually like sandy, well-drained, acidic, non-fertile soil, from what many sites say. And this is their environment. You can see where I got it. The rabbits had chewed off all plants up to the snow level last year, and unfortunately all the blackberries were gone, The hazelnut trees were chewed down. Everything. They ate a lot of stuff. So it's about a 2-foot snow level last year that the rabbits had chewed everything right flush with the ground with the snow. So it must have been a harsh year for them. Anyway, I got these from nearby where I'm allowed to get them, just so you know. And you're supposed to have multiple varieties so that they will bear fruit, so they'll pollinate, cross-pollinate. So I've got 5. There's a bigger one. There's a little one. And then this one and this one. Now 2 of them I took off this root ball. I used pruning shears to cut the, there was a side one over here and a side one like this. And I cut right through the whole root mass, trying to retain as much as possible. So now this one actually had fruit this year, and you can see here that the rabbits had eaten that off as well. But in here, look at that, sheared everything off. The rabbits really did some destruction here. But anyway, these had been bearing fruit already, and the squirrels got them all. So I was going to wait till after September, October, when the nuts fell, but the squirrels ate them off, so I got them. So we'll have a living hedge here. I just planted some berries too, so now I've got the hazelnuts here on the first section. I've got grapes. I don't know, I hope that one recovers next year. And this one, these were the ones that were ravaged by bugs. They were beautiful and had fruit on them, but the bugs destroyed the plant. This one is coming on its own from a root that I had planted, so that one's growing. There's a root that I planted that didn't grow, and this one died back. I do hope that the root is still alive. That's the one that the insects had ravaged. That was an older rootstock that I hope it recovers, but it just completely died off. Well, I hope that root's alive, because that was a valuable plant. And then here's another root that we planted that may or may not come. I don't know. And then we had also had, we got our money back from them. We had purchased raspberries, which never grew either. So there's some stalks here and there. There's a dead raspberry next to a, what do you call it, cucumber. And then I just planted the wild black raspberries here. And I've got 2 more planting sections for raspberries later on, once I get some. Here's our 3rd harvest of peas this year. That's enough for at least 2 stir fries. And this is our first zucchini harvest of the year. So it has begun. I'm clearing up the moss layer here so that the ground can dry out. And regardless what I do under here, I need dry ground to prevent rot, and the moss retains the moisture. Now this is going to dry out very fast. Now, considering it's very moist here, it gives me some thought, something to consider. Has anybody ever used or thought of moss as a mulch? It has its complete root mass here. I'd have to pull out the grass that's in there, but other than that, what if I put this around my plants as a moisture retaining mulch, or even on my walkways, for example, in my garden? If I put down, let's say, cardboard, and then I put the moss down on the pathways, I wonder what would happen. But I wonder also, though, what causes the moss to be the only thing that grows in a certain area? Does it put out chemicals that kills any other plants? Let me know what you guys think, or what knowledge you have. But there's a huge pile of moss. I can either use it for ground cover on the walkways in the garden to smother out weeds, or I can use it around the plants to smother out weeds and to retain moisture. I'm thinking especially around the broccoli and cabbage family plants, because I read that what causes them to bolt is the hot. When the roots get hot, they bolt. So it's not the temperature of the air, it's the temperature at the roots. If I can keep the soil from getting hot by covering the ground around them, maybe that'll help. But if these emit a chemical that'll kill it, then no good. Anyway, I'm going to scratch this out and let it dry a couple days. Well guys, for now it's going to be wood storage regardless. I can fully stand up in here. For right now, I'm going to simply stack my wood up in there to dry. I've got it propped off the ground, the pallets are off the ground on blocks. I've got the moss scraped up so the moisture is gone. The blocks raise the pallets up so air can flow underneath my wood. And also it'll prevent, if I put the pallets right on the ground, rodents like to nest inside the pallet framing, and that's not good. Up in the air, there's less chance of rodents nesting in here like that. So I'm going to take my wood from over here, put it in here all standing up loosely so it can dry, and then later I'm going to build shelving in here for that to sit up, stacked up out of the way. So it's a start. And then I'm probably going to put all my pallets over here again on the side wall, all my building pallets, and keep them tarped up so that they'll stay dry, and then I can start finishing projects around here. I saw the Long project, for example, criticizing me for not finishing projects. Well, that will hopefully change when I get my wood dry and out of the weather. That's going to be a huge thing now. So, you know, I've always said the rain and the wet wood stops me, and when we have a wet season, which we had 3 weeks of rain, I'm still trying to dry my wood out before I start putting it on the side of the chicken coop, because if you put wet wood on the chicken coop and it shrinks, and you have gaps, and that's not good. So this is a big start in the right direction. and so on. I'm going to put down 2 boards and then a row of pallet framing pieces for an air gap. Let me see if I can get down in here and show that. So there's an air gap here, and then air can flow all through, and I'll leave the sides of this open for a while, let the sun shine and the air flow through. Next I'm going to put 3 pallet frame pieces, and then I'll put more wood up, and I'll stack all my wood on here, let it dry out, and I can start building stuff again. That was a problem. Even though we have sunny days in between periods of rain, the wood can't dry out unless it's, you know, setting where it can get air and where it can dry. It's just impossible for wood stacked outdoors to really dry properly like that. So here we go. It's the beginning. I use pallets for spacers in some places. I've got some beautiful pallet wood that I wanted to preserve for my woodworking. I just think that's amazing. So that's stacked in there as well. And now for the next few days, as long as it doesn't rain, I'll leave this open, tarp it on rainy days, and let air flow through here and dry all that out. Now this is stacked loosely, so obviously once I get shelving up here, I'll stand boards up and down, which will prevent rodents from infesting it, because right now, guaranteed by the time this is done drying, there's going to be nests all through this. Right now basically what they do is take the pine cones, look for a dry cozy place to eat them, and make a serious mess out of things. Later they will be building nests, but anyway, I want to prevent that. So this is just until the wood dries out nicely. I figure a week maybe, and then I'll build shelving units in here. I'm going to have a walkway down the middle, shelves on both sides, store the wood you know, off the ground in the shelves, sorted by size, thickness, and type. I'm going to have a good place here. That's the plan. Now I've got a stack of pallets still. I may just put the pallets in on top of all this for now, keep them dry, because I haven't been able to use the pallets either because they're wet. But I've got to figure out how best to use the space here before I go ahead and jam it all up with everything. Some people suggested putting another wood storage building here, or another overhang off the side of the electronic slab, which I probably will end up doing for the pallet storage area. And then I'm going to put a double high pallet picket fence between the 2 sheds to close off. Well, let's go around front. Close it off, then I can put more stuff in behind and it'll look neat here, I think. At least that's my theory. Now all I have left is a little bit of dry rotted wood that's going to go to the fire pit. So that's sitting on 2 pallets. And then over here I've got some treated lumber that's going to be the other solar panel rack. And when that's done, then that'll be off the ground. So yeah, I think I'll put the pallets up neatly over here next to the electronic slab, and then keep them covered, and then eventually I'll be able to use them as well. And we're coming along here. I've got plastic shelving over here that I can maybe use for the wood shed. Might be a good idea, but I don't know how much weight they can hold anymore. They're pretty old. Anyway, that's pretty much it for today. I'm going to put those sawhorses out back and straighten up a little bit in here and put the chickens in for the night, and that'll be it. So, unless something comes up, Troy from the Do-It-Yourself World and the Off-Grid Project. Talk to y'all later.